Okay, so I sent off a big submission to CGC for grading. Everything went out on September the 13th. There were 54 cards total. 50 are going to be in this unboxing here. That was all the bulk submission, and two different orders of economy submissions. So the bulks were $8 each with a minimum of 50 cards and a maximum value of $100. The economy was $15 each, zero minimum, and a $400 max. I did two of those. I opted for subgrades on those as well. So that was an additional $5 per card. And you can see, like, this is the submission number, 3722822, and then the 001 and 002 are consecutive because these are the two that were turned in that specific submission order. So these are the ones that came back with the subgrades. First edition Dark Charizard. It's really nice. I'm not sure I 100% agree with the 8.5 on the surface, but it came back as a 9. If that would have been a 9 itself, we might be looking more like a 9.5 here with the subgrades. And the Final Fortune, that seems about right. I'm pretty happy with the grading on that. So fairly consistent with the PSA as far as these go so far. So this was the first order that came back, and the only two that I got with subgrades. Again, you can see on these sequential numbers that tie in with the submissions. These were returned, let's see, back up just a minute. These came back, everything went out September 13th. These shipped back, these two shipped on the 8th of October. So it was pretty quick turnaround time. These two shipped on the 12th of October. Now, I did notice that there was an adjustment. Again, these were at the economy level, $15 each, no subgrades, $400 max, which at the time was pretty much what these were. I mean, these both qualified for that. Now, as we all know, in the past few weeks in October of 2020, Pokemon has just exploded. So, at some point in time, this Charizard, in the eyes of the graders, even at this grade of 6, became more valuable than the $400 max while they had it. So there was an upcharge on my account of additional $4.50. So come back as a 6. That seems about right, actually. I was kind of hoping, I was thinking 6 or 7. This seems fairly accurate though. And the 8.5 on this, that seems all right too. Again, no subgrades on these. Now, real quick before we get into the bulk submission, I just wanted to show you side by side a CGC case versus a PSA case, and this is just for case comparisons only. You can see they're about the same size. The CGC case has much more rounded corners. I personally like the label, and the backs, you know, has a little foil stamp, and of course the sequential order of the submissions is a nice little bonus too. On these, there's no such thing on that as on PSA unless it ties into the actual grading number here. Right off the bat, there's a couple things to notice about the cases, though. You'll see this has that kind of that frosted effect on the PSA case, where the CGC case is completely clear all the way around. And you'll also notice, if you get closer, you'll see that the PSA cards are just kind of sitting in there, secured by these little indentations inside the case, whereas the CGC card is actually in a sleeve inside the case. You can see it right here around the corners of the card. You can see that they're actually in a sleeve. That's difficult to see on the back, I guess. But anyway, so that's that case by case comparison. Now, these four guys, moving aside, let's get into the big one. Again, these were all submitted at the bulk level. The box is pretty solid, pretty big. There's 50 cards in here. This entire box fits easily on top of this playmat, just to give you a size of the scale. But maximum value at the time of submission, declared value was $100 per card. Now, I have reviewed the final report online just briefly, just to kind of see what I picked up on and if I got anything really good. And some of the cards, some of the grades, I'm looking forward to seeing because they seem fairly low. But we'll all take a look together. So, the inner packaging, there is no invoice in here. I'm hoping that the invoice, the packing slip, is actually inside this inner box. Inner box is pretty heavy. This is a good, it feels like probably a good 7-8 pounds. And it has their labeling on the end. Received date, like I said, 9/16. That was the day that the entire submission, all 54 cards, was received. And today is the 22nd, I believe. No, today's the 20th. I received these back 2 days ago. So I would say just under a 30-day turnaround time. So given the value of the grading cost plus the turnaround time, I wanted to do a large submission to see if we can establish a baseline of the grading. So here's everything, and of course we do have a packing slip inside. And the fees, you'll notice, are $7.20 because of the membership level that I signed up at. So the other shipments that came in were in a different sort of packaging. They had it's a foam box. They had slots in it, and all the cards were just like stuck into individual foam. So these are all packed together. It's pretty snug, and then they have these fillers on the end. So what I'm going to do is, as we pull them out, I'm going to pull them out, and most of these are going to be Pokemon cards, but we're going to check them all, and I'm going to put them in orders, both by game type, which will only be Magic and Pokemon, and then stacks by grade. So we'll see how we end up doing. So I'm going to pull these all out backwards. As you can see, submission number 01, 02, 03, 04, and so on. And I believe you have the option to add additional criteria to the back, like, you know, my trunk of the car collection, or, you know, special stuff or whatever. But I didn't opt for that. I just wanted to raw grading. So we'll start here. It's a beautiful Mana Vault. Now, I would say that most of the time for submission of grading, it's obvious that you want to take several things into account. Not only like how the card looks to the naked eye, like how you think it will grade, you know, and if it's not going to grade like an 8 or higher, I would say generally don't submit it. However, for older cards that are more valuable, it's always worth trying to preserve their condition as they are, and then help you establish a market value as well. So with this one, I happen to have this 5th edition Mana Vault, and I was like, you know what, it's really pretty. I'm going to send it in and see what happens. A 9.5 I'm pretty happy with. It's absolutely beautiful. Now for crossover, I haven't tried any crossover stuff obviously yet, but I have a pretty strong feeling that would cross over to PSA pretty highly. So we're actually going to put the bigger cards on that side. All right. Another 9.5, another 5th edition. Okay, so I did go pretty heavily into 7th edition foils. It was a pretty safe place to park some extra cash in the past couple of years. And I started pulling some of those out and got those sent in with this stuff too. I don't think these were all put in order of grade, but that's kind of how it's looking right now. So don't get excited. I don't think that CGC is giving away the grades. Like I said, I've reviewed the grades on here. I have some down that go down to, I think, a 7 on some of the Pokemon. Okay, so here's a beta Dragon Whelp, which 8 I think is a pretty solid grade for anything in beta. So let's leave that some space. Now, I don't know what the difference is between the solid 7 and the solid 8 on these Storm Worlds. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to review all these yet. And this one with the scuffing on the back, I'm guessing is a 7. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to here. So far, all magic stuff. I don't think we go below a 7 in this particular shipment. The 6 on the Charizard base was, I think, the lowest that I've gotten back on this entire submission. Okay, so now we're getting into some Pokemon. Again, the numbers are still sequential. We're on card number 11. That's pretty nice. 9.5 Murder Turtle, legendary foil right there. So I'm assuming that, well, I guess maybe our higher grades will all be in the back of this. I don't know if that actually is the way it's going to go. Let's put that right there. Yeah, see, so that kind of bounces around. Now, I did denote swirls on some of these on the submissions, and I don't know if they actually marked it on the labels or not. I'll see if I can catch one as we go through to see if maybe it's on there. A lot of turtles. Lots of turtles. Let's see what else. All right. So this is a non-foil first edition Dark Charizard. So I had several Dark Charizards. I think the other ones got submitted in the first round. Or actually, they came back in the first round, I should say. That's a pretty nice Blastoise. So we've got a Japanese card. And another Zard, a 9 Expedition. This is a reverse holo. Super pretty Charizard. So far we're doing pretty good on the scores. I'm sure we're going to get into some trash here in a little bit. So I think the only thing that's wrong with this Houndoom that I can recall from the submissions, and you can see it pretty clearly in here, these horizontal lines that go across there. And I don't know if that's production error or just tiny scratching that happened through handling. But I think that was the only issue that I found with it. Everything else looked perfect. Card, centering, back, surface. So that one actually, if those scratches weren't there, that would be a pretty good contender for subgrading. Now again, the reason that a lot of these cards are going to be coming back in such high grades, 8 and 9s and higher, is the scrutiny that I put into the selection process. So I didn't just send everything in. Now I do have a couple of Magic cards we haven't gotten to yet that are going to grade lower. But again, it was stuff that like I said, that's first edition Rocket Holo. Stuff that I wanted to preserve the value of. And the best way to do that was just to go ahead and get it encapsulated. So that's an 8. Nothing to get too excited about on the Sabrina. That's a pretty dark Raichu, though. Here comes Team Rocket, first edition. That is a holo. First edition Dark Alakazam 9. That's super nice. And another one that is unlimited. I did end up having quite a few Legendary Collection reverse holos, and I still have several more that I'm going to be submitting, but a 9.5 on that is pretty cool on the seal. So the next round I'm going to probably pull a lot more Japanese base set and the rest of the Legendary Collection and the rest of the Charizards that span several different set releases. Okay, so the Raticate was just kind of a test. It's non-foil. There's nothing super special about it, but it was really pretty. It's a Southern Islands promo. It's, you know, there's only 18 of the cards in that promo set, so pulling a 9 on that's pretty nice. And I'll do it again. Base set unlimited Poliwrath. Too bad he couldn't be a 9, but an 8.5 is still pretty solid. Again, lock in the value on these cards. More Legendary Collection reverses. More Japanese. Murder Turtle, 7.5. That's a little disappointing, but, you know, they can't all be winners. Still considered near mint. So it'll still command top of market raw price. Anybody looking for this sweet Japanese Mewtwo? Okay, we got 2 more short stacks to get through here. Raichu, 9.5. Beautiful. Gem Mint. Shadowless. Shadowless Nidoking in an 8. Really solid card. So the Japanese base set stuff doesn't have as much potential value as their English counterparts in that, but they're really cool looking cards, and there's definitely a market for them. Yeah, 7.5. That's, like I said, they can't all be winners, but for the most part, we're sticking above 8s on this stuff. So far, pretty happy. All right, we're down to the last stack. All right. Flareon. And see, we're still sequential, 44, which means we have, what, 6 cards left. Again, with the 7th edition foils. I have a ton of 7th edition higher-end foils that will probably be going out in the next bulk as well. For $8 a piece, it's totally worth it. Yeah, this is a Singing Tree. This was the one that kind of broke my heart a little bit. I saw it, and I kind of graded it as between light play and moderate play. So a 7.5 is probably pretty accurate. I just wish I had that card in a little higher grade. It's a pretty Houndoom. The Squirtle 9.5. It's beautiful. Beautiful Expedition card. Reverse holo. Fantastic. 3 left. Another Squirtle. Look, perfect. 2 little buddies there. And Magic. Glistener Elf. I don't even know why I sent this in. And be a 9 or better, please. Okay, I'll take it. Another Legendary Collection reverse. So that is our Velveeta cheese box, all full of cards, now emptied on the table. Let's do the count here. Out of 50, we have 1-7 in Magic, 7.5s in Magic. I have 2 and 2 in Pokemon. For 8s, Magic gets 5. Four in Pokemon. 8.5s, all in Pokemon this time. Nines, pretty much the lion's share of grades, so I mean I can't really be mad at it. In Magic it was all foils, a couple of 7th edition and a nice squirrel's nest, and in Pokemon it's going to take 2 attempts at the stack. So let's fan through real quick and just recap. Lots of Japanese stuff, lots of Legendary Collection. I did get the graded card sleeves in a couple days ago, so everything here is going to go straight into those basically oversized team set bags to help prevent the scratching and all that sort of thing on these beautiful cases. These guys are... somebody's going to want these two. And the rest of the 9s in Pokemon. First edition. Reverse Holo Charizard. Beautiful card. Base Set Unlimited. Legendary Collection foil. Now, for the big boys. Again, no 10s in this order. I knew that going into it, but I didn't want to spoil the reveals. 9.5s for Magic, both from 5th edition. Both solid cards. Both worthy of setting back and setting on. And for Pokemon, we have a total of 6 9.5s, which is a little over 10% of our submission, so it's not terrible if you add the 9.5s and the 9s in for the Pokemon collectors. That's a pretty substantial amount of solid high grades. So 2 Gem Mint Squirtle reverse holos. I may be inclined to part with one of those. And the first edition Dark Charizard and the legendary Venusaur. So that's it. That's the recap. Somewhere around, I'd say in the vicinity of, I don't know exactly, but in the vicinity of $500 worth of fees and shipping and all that sort of thing for grading for these 54 cards actually total. That includes these guys that we looked at earlier. So that's that. I guess in the end I would say CGC has great turnaround right now. It was definitely 30 days or less. The pricing is right. I feel that if the grading remains consistent, which I really don't have any qualms with most of these grades. A couple of them I can nitpick on, especially the sub on this Dark Charizard. But like I said, it seems pretty consistent. It seems fairly stringent. And if this continues, I can absolutely see CGC values of graded cards becoming equivalent to probably PSA in the fairly near future. Now, BGS is still going to be the big dog for especially older vintage Magic cards and anything that's really super high-end and has subgrades. That may change in the future, and I'd be okay with that. I like seeing a new competitor enter the market with a good product and a good turnaround time. So I'm into this. I'm preparing another shipment of at least 50 more bulk cards and a few more higher end cards, and just going to keep going. I think I've established a pretty good baseline here of things to look at for grading. And what we'll do is probably sell off most of this stuff, 8s or less, I would say. Maybe even get into some of these and pay for some of the submissions and send a lot more cards in, because I literally have several hundred cards I want to submit right now. And there's no reason to hold on to things that I'm not going to necessarily want to keep. So that's that. If you see anything in here that you're super interested in, let me know. If you want to, if you're local in the Little Rock area or the Arkansas area and you want to jump in on our submissions, we're going to do bulk submissions for CGC, possibly send some out to PSA also. Beckett, we may have to hold on to for a little while, but because there's just not a whole lot of people that are wanting to wait 6 to 9 months on Beckett turnaround times right now. But still, major contender, major player in the industry, so we're going to do group submissions. Get with me and we'll get all your stuff together and figure it out. And thanks.